Most people think a borewell only costs the drilling charge, but once the drilling is completed, you will quickly realize that the pump, the pipes, cables, control panel, installation, transport, and testing together often costs almost as much as drilling itself. In this video, I'll explain the complete process of installing a residential borewell for a new home in Bangalore. To maintain privacy, all numbers that you see are proportionally adjusted from an actual residential project. The costs are representative of a typical 500 to 700 feet depth borewell and are intended for planning purpose rather than exact quotations. By the end of this video, you'll know if we have to take permissions and how long the drilling is going to actually take, how to select a pump, what accessories are necessary, and probably how much budget should you keep aside. So, what all should you be aware of before you start drilling? Before any drilling machine arrives, there are few important things to complete. The first and foremost is selecting the borewell location. So, this depends on the site layout, structural drawings, and any local preferences or practices you choose to follow, like Vastu. And remember to take approval from your neighborhood or apartment associations, or if any site is inside a gated community. Drilling rigs are extremely noisy and can create vibration, dust, and heavy vehicle movement. Most residential communities therefore allow drilling only during daytime hours. A common approval window is 8 am to 8 pm. Informing neighbors a day in advance is a very good practice. The drilling contractor usually requires site access, probably electrical supply if possible, mostly not necessary because they have that facility with them. Adequate space for the lorry and sufficient water supply if necessary. How long does drilling take? So, a modern drilling lorry would approximately drill about 20 feet of depth in 10 to 15 minutes in favorable rock formations. However, it totally depends heavily on geology. Softer formations may progress quickly, while hard granite, fractured rock, or repeated casing work can slow the operation. So, for a borewell between 500 to 700 feet, the drilling itself often finishes within one working day, provided there are no interruptions and work remains within the permitted 8 am to 8 pm window. This is a column in feet and number of feet drilled and what is the rate per square per feet and what will be the total amount if you complete uh, that specific depth. So assuming you start from the ground level as 0 feet, as we go down to 250 feet we'll be charged at 80 rupees per feet. So 250 into 80, it comes to around 20,000 rupees, as you can see. So if we are going to 750 depth, um, each borewell company will have their different breakdowns. So the one that we had contracted, they had this 100 feet frequency after 250 feet. So 0 to 250 and then 250 to 350 we are charged at 90 rupees per feet, and 350 to 450 feet it is 100 per feet, 450 to 550 it is 130, and so on. So between these feet you are charged specifically and entire amount is added to your total cost. Besides the drilling cost, there are other charges that you would have to pay. So the first one being casing pipe charge. So while you choose to drill a hole, initially the topmost layer of the earth is completely soil. So while you drill and make a hole deep into the earth, the soil would fall down once it's not supported because of various reasons like soil erosion or rain or wind or etc. So this will actually close your drilled hole. So that's the reason they usually ensure that it will be safeguarded with a casing pipe. So this casing pipe is not um, placed at 50 feet as hard and fast rule for everybody. In our case, it is 50 feet. However, it in a regular sense, the casing pipe is installed until you reach a stone or a rock while you are drilling. So entire soil or soft soil is covered or safeguarded. So in with that in mind, for 50 feet, we are charged at 400 rupees per feet and it comes to around 20,000. And the rest of other things or infrastructure costs that are incurred. As you can see, there is collar charges, cap charges, casing removal charge, water injection charge, welding charges, transport charges, and labor charges. So, for 750 feet depth, we had to spend around 1 lakh 6,250 rupees. Besides this, the laborers might ask for extra money, maybe around 2,000 to 3,000, which will be not covered in the bill. Proper drilling. So, what next? You should choose the right pump and install it so you get water and you can use it. So, coming to choosing the right pump, I think this is another major investment for you. Pump selection depends on majorly three things based on the depth. Borewell depth is one important factor that decides what will be the capacity of the pump that you should choose, and what is the water level, and what is your daily water requirement. So, for a residential borewell, which is around 500 to 700 feet in depth, usually 5 HP to 6 HP is sufficient. So, for around 700 feet, generally 7.5 HP is recommended. For an independent home with overhead storage tanks, although the exact selection should be based on borewell yield and total dynamic head calculated by the installer. The accompanying estimate includes 7.5 HP, 75 stage 3 phase submersible pump along with a control panel, HDPE pipe which covers the flat cable. The flat cable is the electrical connection that connects the actual pump. There are several pump brands in the market. Some of the most popular brands in Karnataka or in Bangalore or CRI, Texmo, and Texmo has two sub brands called Aqua and Taro, and there is one more uh, child brand for Texmo called Samudra, and there are a few more like Kirloskar. However, it totally depends on your choice. Most of the pumps are really good. What we have chosen is a pump which has good warranty and competitive pricing. So our pump is Samudra and it comes with 2 year warranty. So we have selected the pump and you should build the harness around it. So it would require the HDPE column pipe which will be equal to the depth of the borewell that you have drilled, and a submersible flat cable. It should be greater than your total depth of the drilled hole, and there will be some fittings, clamps, etc. along with these materials, and you will be charged for the installation of hardware, and also there will be a camera survey done by the Borewell company or the pump brand distributor to actually ensure at what level the water is available and to what level they need to procure the accessories like cable, etc. So once that is done, an installation team would arrive at your site and they would uh, install the pump along with the flat cable, which will be connected to the electricity board, and they will test the water pumping capacity. So considering a pump of 7.5 HP capacity, it is costing us around 58,000 rupees, and it varies between the brands. Since we bought Samudra, it was around 58,000. However, if you went for CRI, it would be somewhere around 60,000, and if it is a Texmo, it would go above 60 until 64 or 65,000 rupees. And rest of other things are totally constant except for the HDPE column pipe and the flat cable, which are totally dependent on how deep the drilling hole is or how deep the borewell is. So based on these costing, it comes to around 1,49,900 rupees for us. So if we consider total charges like drilling and pump along with the accessories and installation, it costed us around 2,56,150. So an interesting tip for you, if you are actually getting a contractor who can do both drilling along with pump and accessories, you can negotiate the prices a bit and then round it off to 2,50,000 approximately and save some money. So this is all the expenses video for drilling a borewell in Bangalore. If you found this useful, please consider subscribing. In upcoming videos, I will also cover the other aspects of the construction and building a house in Bangalore. Thank you for your time.